Alright guys, welcome back to Alliance War Season 55, War number 2. We're starting off on Path 1. We've got Viv against the Personal Space Regen Killmonger. We've done Killmongers before with Viv, not really too much of a problem. Just got to make sure there I didn't finish with the medium combo correctly. But once I do, then I can phase through and I'm not feeding him extra power with my any debuffs, so it's not too bad. I'm going to get off my special 2. Going to wait out here, try and build up to now a special 1, try and wait out his special here. And then I think I can't remember. Yeah, I'm going to go for a heavy attack, bait the special 2. Just going to wait it out. He decided, I phased by mistake, so gave him a little bit of brought him below 2 bars, so then he threw the special 1. Doesn't matter, still got my unblockable special 1s off, and we're good. Next up was a tricky one. This is Punisher 2099, and take him with Serpent. This is the Mask and Vigorous Assault, so he's going to be unblockable for part of it here. So I hid into him, and obviously my Withers are going to trigger the regen. The issue that I've got here is I'm going to try and wait, but it's hard to time it, where right now I get hit with an unblockable special 1, my invulnerability boost helps me out there. Now I can get my specials through the block, so I have to be careful there. I got kind of like a perfect timing where the unblockable did not trigger when he threw that special 1, so I'm trying to kind of hit into him as much as I can right now while waiting for the unblockable to fall off. Perfect timing again, so the special 2 was not unblockable. Okay, that is the main thing that I'm trying to do here with the fight, is try not to get wrecked during the unblockable portion. So there again, unfortunately, he went unblockable mid-special, so that kind of sucked. But we do manage to finish it. This is the only fight I was really bringing in Serpent for, so it's not too bad. But we got through it. I was pretty happy getting through that fight. That was one of the ones that I was looking at when I was making my plans that I was going to have an issue with. These Void fights on Path 3, none of the champions have any armor ups, so you're not dealing with the node portion at all. We're just dealing with some tactic, sugar pill defenders, but Void is decay, so we can put on our Withers, we can get our intimidating debuffs, and we're good. The issue with Void that I'm going to have later on is that when you get when you face an actual sugar pill defender, like a global defender, then anytime you get a hit on them, you're putting on those Withers, which then take a little bit of time to go away, but your intimidating debuffs only last until you get Fear of the Void, and when Fear of the Void happens, all your intimidating debuffs go off, and you lose that damage over time protection that you get from having the debuffs on the opponent. And that is going to come into play later on in this war, on the one fight that I tried to be a little cute on and didn't quite work out, but not the end of the world. We did come away with the win, so we are 1-on-1 on the season, and it was relatively comfortable win. So even though I did make a mistake later on, or an unfortunate scenario, probably not the best counter, but the only thing that I could think of, we'll get to that later on. But we got here, Void absolutely destroys Mojo here. Again, not a problem. Got those first 2 fights down easy. Now we're going to go to Path 3, Section 2. We've got a future AntMan. I sped this one up a lot because you've seen it a million times. If you watch my channel, you know I've continued to do Path 1 and Path 3 in the same battle group for the last number of seasons. And I always use Magneto, at least for the most part, for future AntMan. The only difference on this one is when I got to a special 3, his actual power detonation actually kicked in at the very end, and right before I throw the special 3, I actually dropped down to a special 1 right there, so that was unfortunate. That was just bad, unlucky timing that doesn't usually happen ever, so that's fine. We still managed to finish him very easily with a couple extra parry heavies, and he is down. So that's a pretty boring fight. We've seen it a million times. Black Panther Civil War, however, I did do some duels because he does have the where he can stun reflect you. I practiced with Onslaught, and Onslaught was able to, when he shrugs off the stun and stuns you, Onslaught works because he'll still put the passive stun on. And then once I got him to like some bars of power, I was just focusing on countering his specials and rocking him with Onslaught. I recently took my Onslaught on my second account up to rank 3, so it is a very big Onslaught there. So very happy with the fight. Worked extremely well, and I end up getting to use Onslaught for a mini boss fight this war also, so that worked out great. You can see there, could parry freely against this Black Panther and finish with almost a full yellow bar. Let's hop over to Path 1 in Section 2. We have a Mysterio. Mysterio, the only, I think I get myself into a problem here where I don't knock him down enough. That is my problem. I wasn't focusing enough, I think, on knocking him down and making sure that the slow is on to prevent the unstoppable. And I think I kind of take for granted how easily I was flying through those first 2 fights with Void. And here, the issue with Mysterio is that if he throws that special 1, you don't want to hit into him until that purple timer is done, so you don't take a bunch of damage back. So, no, you don't want any reflected damage. Unfortunately, also, then I got hit by his special 1, and I'm getting myself kind of backed up into the corner, and that was my problem there, because I wasn't focusing enough on knocking him down. So when I went to go get out of the corner, he had his unstoppable trigger. And then when I try to knock him down, I hit him instead of throwing the heavy first, and then he parries me. Finally, I go ahead and get a striker off and a heavy, and I can get the slow back on. Again, I'm still stuck waiting out that timer, hit him, get out of that fight. Oh man, not the greatest, but we got through it. Then I had Viv against Weapon X. If you've ever watched my channel before, I use Viv for Weapon X all the time. The only issue is you cannot phase against Weapon X, but you can use your passive heal block, wait out his unstoppable. There, I'm going to drop a special 2 on him. Then I'm going to, again, he's very aggressive when he's in the Berserker Rage, when he has that unblockable. When he doesn't have the unblockable, I'm just going to go ahead and bait out the special, get to a bar of power, and absolutely melt him. Unfortunately, I did miss a recording. I did take a Negasonic Teenage Warhead mini with Void that worked extremely well. I'm trying to think if it was Node. I can't remember which node it was, but it was a pretty easy one. It was like a Hazard Shift Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Took that one with Void, but I don't have the recording. Here, I sped this one up. This is the Sassy fight where it's the ebb and flow knockdown, but when you knock him down, he goes debuff immune. So I've done this one before where I just use Void and I do not knock him down a single time. I just go ahead, let the intimidating debuffs do their thing, and I try as hard as I can not to trigger any dexes if possible, because the more dexes I have, the more times I dex, the more chance there is for him to trigger an unstoppable. Luckily, for the most part, if I parry before I hit, I don't trigger the unstoppable. And it's just a very slow fight here, but the intimidating debuffs do exactly what I need them to do. Gotta obviously watch out for the Wrath of Tanarak. He's going to be throwing multiple specials. You might want to bait a heavy so that the unstoppable does disappear on the heavy in time for you to attack in, even if he's in Wrath. And the only thing here is I get tripped up at the very end of the fight, and then I'm forced to throw a special 3 with like 4 or 3% left. And I was really worried that as I was pushing him to 3 bars of power, I had to drop the special 3, and then I was just crossing my fingers hoping that he was going to die from the SP3 because of the protection. I wasn't sure if it was going to work, and then if I would have taken a special 3 to the face, I don't think I would have survived. So right here at the end, I make a mistake, push him to special 3, throw mine, and luckily we get him down with the special 3. So I've played that one a little bit smoother in the past, not the greatest, but we did it. The next section, we've got this Onslaught against the Burden of Might High Energy Diet Korg. Now, Onslaught's damage is physical, it's not energy damage. So I don't have, like, I'm pretty sure the neuroshocks are all physical damage, so I don't have to worry about him regenning. The issue that I have to focus on is the Burden of Might, so I'm not going to be able to consistently keep my specials, because as soon as I trigger a dex, my power is going to get drained. But I'm just focusing with Korg on making sure his rock snacks are done. Try to keep getting them down with light attacks so I don't take any damage from the thorns. Other than that, not too bad here. I do manage to get off a special 2, which was really nice. It takes a bit of healing there, but then the majority of the damage he still takes. And yeah, nothing too crazy, just a really nice beefy Onslaught going to town on Korg here. Again, trying to make sure I get all his rock shields down before I drop a special with the shield shattered. Do trigger his unblockable, but that's fine. I'm not too concerned about that. Do get hit by it though, but other than and miss a parry there, but that's fine. Throw another special, and we do end up getting him down pretty nicely, and that's the last I needed of Onslaught anyways. So really happy to see him take another mini, so keep that in the memory bank for a future war. And then last but not least, I have a Hazard Shift Arcade. You can see the Negasonic I also took to the left there, but Arcade here, I tried this against a Prowler in the off season. Stun Immune, Incinerate, Poison, Hazard Shift. I tried to go in with Void, and the plan here was just to hit on the block and almost play Void like Valkyrie. And now Arcade, unfortunately, he does put a bunch of debuffs on you, but like through the special 1, there's the Hazard Shift, all that fun stuff. But if he could actually back up a little bit, which would be nice, which he doesn't here at the beginning, I'm forced to attack in after his heavy attack. Luckily, he doesn't have any tokens yet at the moment, but here I am going to go ahead and he turtles up for me, and I'm able to hit into his block, and I'm able to put on my intimidating debuffs. Because I have my intimidating debuffs on any of the debuffs he places on me, I can limit the damage that I'm going to take because I'm a global attacker. The issue that I'm going to have is, like I said earlier, is that I'm going to get up to 6 debuffs on me, and that's going to prevent all the damage. So right now I would be taking damage from the debuffs that he placed on me, but I'm not, because I have 5 debuffs. But because he is not a global defender, I don't get the withers. Because he doesn't put placebos, I'm not immune to the placebos, I don't get the withers, all that fun stuff. And then when I get my Fear the Void right now, so if you were to throw a special at this exact moment, I would take a lot of damage, and that's going to happen to me later on in the fight, which is extremely annoying. So I wasn't really focusing enough on his arcade tokens. I was just letting him get his tokens, because my goal is to just hit into the block, not worry about the like his auto block, because I'm not trying not to hit him. Unfortunately, there I do hit him. I try to use a special 1 there to help back away. Unfortunately, I get stuck in the corner here, and even though I'm getting hammered in the face at the moment, I'm not taking any damage. But I'm going to go into Fear of the Void right there, and all my debuffs disappear, and then he's got tons of debuffs on me, and I completely melt. So unfortunately, he didn't play along with the strategy that I wanted. Somebody went in and tried their own attempt with somebody else. That didn't work either, so I come in with Void and finish it off. I'm sure there is a better champion out there to do it. I'm thinking maybe my Serpent that I had could have worked better, but that was already on another path, so not really an option for this war. But we'll see, depending on who is banned and what the options are. You know, maybe there's someone else that I could use for this one. I know I've used Cassie for arcade in the past with pretty good success. She is also global, so maybe there's another option there in the future. But for now, one death that I took on this one wasn't too bad, and we did end up getting the win. So hopefully you enjoyed the war content, and we'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye-bye.